Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and welcome to Marvel's What If. What If has officially dropped. The first episode of What If has officially dropped, and I think this is probably going to be like similar to the other ones, like 6 to 9 episodes probably. And this is also like an actual seasonal thing, like an actual series. Like this show is going to have a second and presumably a third season too. They confirm they have multiple different alternate universe and what if stories that they want to explore. So the best way for them to explore that apparently is through multiple seasons. So that is exciting, be it. But this is the first one, and this is a very very intriguing concept for the MCU as a whole, let alone for an actual like Disney Plus series. Just exploring all the different possibilities that could happen, all different kind of AUs and what if scenarios that could happen, how much it could change things, and how how it would actually come into fruition. So this first one is Captain Carter. This first one is Captain Carter. That one is definitely an exciting concept, and anyone also who's watched Agent Carter 2 will know that Peggy is an enormous and very very intriguing kind of character to explore in this kind of regard too, like her being like her as like a regular human, like she's powerful enough and she can get shit done, but her being given the super soldier serum is a whole other kind of route that offers very many kind of interesting possibilities. So that is very fun, and I think this one, I mean, for me personally, this is also like a scenario that somewhat makes more sense given like how connected she was to the original project anyway, like being there, being present, and being there with Steve and everything. So with this one, it's her getting this. I think I don't know exactly what it is that what they're gonna like if she herself volunteers for it, or if they actually opt to give it to her instead, or maybe if like because like Steve is still in this, like pre-serum Steve is still in this, but he's just gonna be pre-serum Steve, and he gets like into like a giant armored robot suit, so he still gets to do something, but then Peggy is the one given the serum. So I'm really interested to see how things actually go down that route, and then how well she picks up the mantle of Captain Carter and everything. So she is Captain Carter. I think, I think, I mean, I'd say her costume may be somewhat reminiscent of Captain Britain's, with the actual British flag and the shield and everything being there as well. And then she has a shield and a sword too, so I feel like maybe on some level the sword might be a homage to Captain Britain's sword itself. But either way, she is Captain Carter. She's Captain Carter, which has an even better ring to it. So there's that. But Captain Carter, I'm not sure if this is going to be exclusive to one episode, if they can actually explore it kind of efficiently enough in one episode, or if it's going to be like a two-parter thing. I think having it be a two-parter would be interesting. For each different what if scenario, actually showing like an introduction to the what if and then the conclusion and how it could lead on. But we do have other ones. We do have T'Challa being Star-Lord, or T'Challa being the one found by Yondu instead of Peter Quill, and him becoming Star-Lord and doing the Ravagers and all that kind of jazz. And then we have Tony meeting Killmonger. We have Tony being saved by Killmonger back in Iron Man 1, so then he basically never does get captured or become Iron Man, so that's that's an equally interesting one. And then I think in the trailers we've seen like various other glimpses of other universes, like different kind of rosters for the Avengers and the Ravagers coming back in, and all these are characters. And Marvel Zombies. Marvel Zombies is like a huge kind of comic book event that they're gonna bring to life in this kind of in this format. So that's fun. So like a lot of different possibilities, a lot of different storylines that they either wouldn't be able to explore in live action, or maybe that they just want to like have a better idea for in like animated form with this show. So it should be a lot of fun. It should be a lot of fun. And yeah, I think I think this has also been said to be canon to the MCU. This is like all these different. So it's like, I mean, that's been raising questions amongst the fans. Like, if it's canon, then what does canon really mean? Or if it's canon, then how is it going to really interweave into the actual mainstream things? I think by canon it means that because now after Loki they've confirmed the multiverse is a thing. The multiverse has been opened up. The floodgates are down, and everything's going to seep through, and we're going to see everything coming into play now. So I think What If definitely is like ours as an audience's kind of first glimpse at what the multiverse really holds, with various different characters and various different stories, so like different timelines, and you take one step in a different direction and everything changes. So I think that's like the simplest and the very least effect that the multiverse could have with different choices. So I think that definitely kind of offers. So like the mainstream MCU still runs the way that we see in maybe in like the live action stuff, but then I do wonder if maybe we get like if maybe stories from here still get interwoven into the actual into the actual live action mainstream kind of movies where they actually continue with this. I think, because like these series are pretty much all connected. If you want to understand everything going on, then you need to be watching everything. So, I kind of because that part of me doubts that you can really watch any future MCU products, especially like something like Doctor Strange or something, without having watched this first. Because then if like stories or characters are cameoed in that originated in this, then you're probably going to want some context. So I think, it's like it really offers a lot more kind of extra work to do if you really want to kind of be in tune with everything going on in the MCU. And I think, like going forward, like this new kind of saga is just going to be packed with all sorts of content and all sorts of story and stuff to get through. But it's the MCU, it's Marvel, they know what they're doing, so it's going to be entertaining and informative and just, like an all-around blast. So I really can't wait to see what they've got in store. And we have the Watcher narrating too. The Watcher, voiced by Jeffrey Wright, is going to be narrating this, and he's the one. I don't know if he's Uatu, because like the only Watcher whose name I know is Uatu from like Ultimate Alliance and everything. But I think we have seen the Watchers before. In I think it was Guardians 2. One of the post-credit scenes was Stan Lee on like another planet, like kind of narrating his own life story to various different Watchers before they all walked off and everything. So we know the Watchers are in the MCU. So this Watcher, whoever he is the one who's going to be narrating this, and he's the one who can actually see all the time. So I think like the Watchers, like their kind of story is that they actually observe the multiverse and they observe everything going on in the universe, and maybe presumably in other universes too, and stuff like that. But then they are sworn only to observe and never interfere. So I think this might be like just one of those examples, it's not necessarily that it's like, because that it's not necessarily the thing that things go wrong or things take a step in like the wrong direction, but because of the fact that it's a multiverse, it's like, oh, things take a step in a different direction, and now we can see through the eyes of the Watcher how everything actually plays out. So yeah, it should be fun. It should be a lot of fun. But yeah, a lot of interesting scenarios kind of confirmed for this, so I can't wait to see how it all goes down. But yeah, the episode 1. Let's move into the beginning of this season, on to episode 1, the reaction. So as you guys will know by now, like this reaction for fair use will just be the highlights and the best bits of the episode. I don't know how long this episode is actually going to be. I can't imagine it'll be like super duper long, but if they still manage to maintain the whole kind of 40-minute mark, then props to them. But either way, just the best bits and the highlights and everything. But if you guys want to catch the full-length reaction, unedited and everything, then that reaction will be over on Patreon, so you can go check it out over there. That would be super cool too. But yeah, on to Marvel's What If, Season 1, Episode 1. What if Captain Carter became the first Avenger? So yeah, let's go.
At humanity's darkest hour, a skinny kid from Brooklyn became Captain America.
Most accurate description. Skinny kid from Brooklyn gets buff. Most accurate description.
Sacrifice.
Wouldn't you be more comfortable in the booth?
No, I'd prefer to stay.
Ah, she's staying.
That's the moment.
Okay.
That created a new universe.
The serum will
Oh, that must be that's the assassin. That's the assassin. He's got a bomb. Yeah.
in order to prevent will be saturated with
Oh, she sees the bomb. Does she stop him before it happens? Can she stop him? No. Oh no, it's too late. Oh god. Was that Colonel Phillips? Was that Colonel Phillips? Oh. Oh, he shoots Steve too. He shoots Steve. Oh damn. Oh, stop him, Peggy. Stop him, Peggy. So Peggy clocks the bomb and it still goes off. Okay, great.
Stark, you go in. What? Are you crazy?
Peggy, go in. Yeah.
Stark, get over there.
Get in there, Peggy. You gotta pump up.
Do you know how much this costs? We won't get another shot at this.
So is everyone else dead then? Is everyone else actually dead? Just they're the only like 4 people left alive. Show me the new Peggy. Show me the buff new Peggy. Oh jeez, her arms. I'm pretty sure her arms are definitely bigger. Her arms are definitely bigger. God damn.
Wow. I'll call this an absolute success.
She's taller too. Yeah, I think she's taller. Yeah.
You have a super soldier.
Women aren't soldiers. They sure as hell don't fight on the front lines.
Okay, it's the 40s. Try not to be too surprised. It's the fucking 40s. Yeah. Tell me we can see her punch the thing off the rails just like Steve did. Punch it off the hook. There we go. There we go.
Not according to Colonel Flynn, that weapons grade moron.
Oh, God.
If only I was allowed to do that to Hitler's head.
Whoa, that's a wall full of them.
And don't worry about me. I never was much of a dancer anyway.
Maybe you haven't found the right partner.
So I do wonder how differently this could end too. If she's gonna go under the ice, or if she's gonna, you know, manage to actually do something unlike Steve was able to.
Able to hold the power to rewrite the
Yeah, that has to be
laws
Ross
of
Marquand. Yeah,
physics
he could
and unlock
imitate
doors
Hugo Weaving.
across the universe.
Yeah, that's the
What you
Ross.
seek is just a legend.
I'd rather you didn't.
Flynn's a
Her
moron.
shoulders
For you,
too.
I'm a
Just
genius.
wow, she could literally carry the world on those shoulders.
USO, let's go sell some war bonds costumes.
Covert skills need work.
This is gonna be awkward.
Oh, a shield! Oh, she already got a shield! Vibranium shield with the new flag. Dang. Okay. This is all very fast paced, but I like it. I really like it. Oh, God. Oh, that suit looks so good. That suit looks so good. Oh! Oh, you can't run her down. You can't run her down. She's... Oh. Damn.
That was brilliant.
Yeah.
Let's give it another go.
Let's. Oh, she's so good. She's so good. Good.
Are you seeing this?
Yeah. Oh, God. So good with the shield. So good. Just breaking jaws left, right, and center.
Sending in a fragile Fraulein to fight for them.
No.
Fragile.
Come on, Peggy. You can take him. Mmm. Ah. Oh, damn. Oh, is that for fragile?
I trust you know what to do with that.
Oh, I know exactly what to do with this.
Yeah. Are they gonna craft their own weapons with it now?
Ready to join?
Oh
the
no,
war
powering the
Steve?
robot! Powering the robot! Oh,
Last
the
intel report
Tesseract
said
powers the
the
robot. then.
107th hit enemy fire.
I owe you one.
You owe me more than that. You owe me a dance. This is nice. You mind if I have
I could literally watch like 3 hours of this, just Peggy back in World War II with the serum kicking Nazi ass. I could literally watch like 3, 4, 5 hours of this.
I'm here for Sergeant Barnes.
Who are you supposed to be?
Oh, he has been experimented on. Yeah.
Steve Rogers sent me. The name's Captain Carter.
I'm in love. I'm in love. I'm in love all over again. I'm in love all over again. All over again. Yes. Yes. Oh god. Oh yeah. This. Wow. This is like the Iron Man 1 armor.
Peggy, now
Yeah.
you owe me one.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. Pretty reminiscent of the Iron Man 1 armor. Yeah.
She's friends with that Hydra Stomper?
I think I'm friends with him too.
Yeah. You are.
What do you think?
Yeah. Same. Oh. Okay. Oh. Very reminiscent of the Iron Man armor then. Very reminiscent. Great, oh, this is a great montage. Yeah. Yeah, classic comic book splash
For
page
me,
art.
Mr. President, I've always said that Peggy is a real knockout.
I never want to see Flynn again. All I want to see from now on is Captain Carter with Steve. That's it. That's it. I never want to see Flynn. Don't want to see him, don't want to hear him, don't want to know him. No Flynn. Oh, yeah, the music is really fitting. The music is very fitting. A very nice touch.
Soon, the true champion of Hydra shall be summoned from beyond the stars.
You mean...
My champion.
You mean Alveus? Oh boy, oh here comes the red face. Here comes the red face. Oh, that was such a cool reveal shot.
Reich.
Yeah, that was such a cool reveal
The
shot.
Reich will fall, and Hydra will rise from its ashes.
You're more than the suit. The suit is nothing without the man inside. You're my hero, Steve. I mean, you're a hero.
You're my hero, too.
Hey!
Oh.
Stole a Jeep!
Come on, Steve, let's go.
They stole a
Shoot you,
jeep.
Carter. Whoa,
Oh,
hey,
they're gonna go
what's going
dancing?
on?
Oh no, the train! Is Bucky still
Farrington
gonna
is
fall?
correct, and the Red
Is
Skull,
Bucky
the
still
very
gonna
head
fall?
of Hydra, is on that train.
Or
We
is
can end
someone
the
gonna
war?
fall?
Yeah, I've heard that one before.
Or maybe you're just afraid of trains.
Oh, he should be. He should be. He really should be.
Peggy, go! Get out of
Bombs. Wait, no, Steve. Steve, did Steve get killed? Did they kill Steve? Did they kill off Steve?
Can't.
You said the Hydra Stomper was indestructible.
It is. Was.
His name is Steve Rogers, not the Hydra Stomper. Steve, and we've lost.
So we're gonna get Winter Soldier Steve now? Is that what's gonna happen?
She should never have been in the field in the first place.
Oh, just fuck off, Flynn. No one wants to know what you think.
You're wasting your time. I will tell you nothing.
He told me everything. According to our German guest, Red Skull believes he can unleash an interdimensional force that will lead Hydra to world domination. And if that fails,
No wonder Hydra targeted Rogers. You'd need the Stomper to get close.
Colonel, you're lucky to even be in the room.
Oh
Red
yes,
Skull wants
fire
to
it off.
destroy our
Fire
world.
it back at
In
him.
many ways, he already has.
I'm in. For Steve.
Yes. Let's do it. For Rogers.
Thank
Oh, I'm not a.
We might need someone to push a button.
I love how that's the most you're gonna put. Hey, we might need some buttons being pushed, and you're the guy for that. What do you oh god. The animation style, the one shot, yep, that one shot wall run, yep, that's just so good. So damn good. Oh damn, through the sandbags.
Well, that was fun.
Oh. Is that Steve? Is Steve inside that suit? Has he been captured? Has he been captured and brainwashed, or...?
Where are we going?
Hive! It's Hive!
The champion of Hydra has risen!
That's Hive! That has to be Hive, right? He's got tentacles and shit?
You're too late, Captain Carter.
has
I
to
have
be Hive.
summoned the champion of Hydra!
Oh, wow. Your champion is killing you as well. Time for the sword. Time for the sword. Oh. Oh no.
Red, green, blue.
Steve,
Did you miss me?
every second.
I told you it was indestructible.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, let's hope it can still withstand Hive then. Yeah, let's hope it can withstand Hive.
I can't close it. This thing is holding it open.
And I'll push it back to hell.
Oh god, don't sacrifice yourself, Peggy. Please live, please live, please live, please live.
I can end this.
Oh, so this is how she sacrifices her life.
Yes, Saturday night.
Oh no, at the Stork Club. Oh no. So Peggy doesn't go in the ice, she goes into space. Oh no. Oh, the first Avengers movie. This is from the first Avengers movie. Yeah, when Loki comes through. Oh, but Loki's not coming through. It's just oh, it's Captain Carter. It's Peggy. Is she in the future?
Sir, that's Captain Carter.
Yeah.
Where's Steve Rogers?
The war ended.
Oh
almost
my
70
god.
years ago.
She's traveled into the future.
You're going to be okay.
We won the war.
Her one choice gave birth to a whole new history and gave the multiverse a new hero. I observe all that transpires here, but I do not, cannot, will not interfere.
You just
For
watch.
I am
Yeah, you are the Watcher.
the Watcher.
Oh, that's the end of it. That's the end. Okay, yeah, that was fun. That was really, really fun. Very fun. A very fun introduction and a very fun kind of episode on its own. And I think it definitely, I think it based on the ending too. I think it definitely kind of is going to follow in the route of actually still trying to form like a semi kind of actual like a secondary cinematic universe given the changes. So like, it's going to be like an entirely kind of like a secondary MCU that spawns from Peggy becoming Captain Carter. I think that kind of So like, not just that too. There's like, it's going to be a secondary MCU where we get like a whole new roster of Avengers. Possibly we get like, you know, Captain Carter being now in the future too, and leading those Avengers, and you know, and then T'Challa becoming Star Wars, and like the Guardians becoming a whole new thing too. So it's like, it literally gives off like, like an alternate, like a cinematic kind of universe vibes, but just with shorter, more compact kind of stories and everything. So that's fun. But yeah, I mean, I think this was very fast paced. It's a lot more fast paced than I'm used to, and like a lot more fast paced than I expected it to be. Like it's like, I think they didn't necessarily cut stuff out, but they definitely adapted it to fit Peggy's story and fit Peggy's take on being Captain Carter a bit more. So it's like, like what we see in the first Avenger is what suits Steve's origin story, and what the kind of story that suits Steve's personality and his growth into Captain America. But with this one, it's shorter and it's more compact. But like the changes they make definitely kind of suit Peggy's growth and her uprising into Captain Carter a lot more. So that's like, it makes sense in that regard. But it's still definitely a lot more fast-paced than I was actually expecting and stuff, so it was a little bit weird in that sense, but overall still great, still really, really enjoyable, and still like a great introduction, a great start to this kind of show. So yeah, and I think, I think so. He said just one change can change everything. One kind of different kind of step can change anything, and the different step in this case was Peggy staying in the room. So I think I didn't know if that would be or whatever. I think Steve getting shot and then Peggy volunteering, I think that one I could kind of see coming, like, because then in that case Peggy would undeniably be like, why I volunteer myself for this, I can do this, and she jumps in of her own accord. But then her staying down there, kind of like, oh, okay, that's an interesting kind of alternate take, like what did she stay down there? I thought, oh, okay, maybe she can actually stop the bomb before it goes, because then she was the only one who clocked the bomb, like no one else clocked the bomb. I think even in the movie it was only no one ever clocked the bomb. But I think the assassin himself like still looked super sketchy afterwards, and then Dr. Erskine clocked him, and then he still kind of recognized that something was up, and then he got killed and everything, and then in this one he still goes down. So with that one, no one clocked it, but then the bomb went off, and people died, and everything else. I figured, okay, maybe this one, like maybe this time, because she's the one that clocks the bomb, maybe she still actually gets like the opportunity to actually stop it from going off. But then no, it still goes off, and stuff still goes on. But I think it's just more like, it's more to the fact. I think it's more just like calling back to like her perception, like she is like because of who she is, because of what she's like, she's being visible to everyone else in the room. So then she is able to notice and observe things that others don't. So then I think maybe it's just like a detail towards that, like her, slightly enhanced kind of perceptiveness to what goes on in the room and what might go down. But then in the end, disaster still strikes and the bomb goes off and everything. But then the assassin shoots Steve. Steve jumps out of the thing and he tries to go up against the assassin, and then he gets shot and everything. But he doesn't die though. He doesn't get shot and die. He just shot and injured, and he can't take the serum. So then Peggy jumps in of her own accord, and she still gets super duper buff and everything. She got buff. I'm gonna have to go back and just rewatch all of her fight scenes on loop, and also she her arms got bigger, her shoulders got broader, she got taller too. I think the tallness thing, I think that wasn't unique to her either. Steve still got like tall and everything, and he was still kind of adored for I think that's a fairly applicable word. But I think like Peggy just I would happily watch 3 to 5 to 6 hours of just her, using her newfound strength and her shield and her awesome new skills to just beat the crap out of Nazis forever and ever. But yeah, she got buff and she got strong, and she used that strength to her utmost advantage, and I love that for her. So yeah, her arms literally grew 10 times in size, but. Wow, yeah. So yeah, that was cool. That was cool. So yeah, they still had the Tesseract. They got the Tesseract, and it powered Steve's armor. The Tesseract actually powers Steve's newfound kind of armor, and very reminiscent, I think, intentionally too, because it is Howard Stark. It is Howard Stark building the armor, the father of Tony Stark himself. So yeah, I mean, yes, I mean, it actually powered the armor, and I think like that suit alone was also very reminiscent of the Mark One too, albeit somewhat more powerful. Because I think even the Mark One that Tony built was unarguably more simplistic and had like a few weapons and stuff built in. But then it was never meant to last long, just like literally just enough for an escape route, and then it literally tore up, broke itself apart in the desert and everything. So with this one, but with this one, he promised it was indestructible, which it was later on down the line. So he promised it would actually get the job done and everything. So that was cool. And I think even inside, Steve had the HUD and everything. So I think interesting that again, I mean yeah, I think I would say interesting enough that they had the tech for the HUD, because that is basically like holographic and everything and stuff like that. And then I mean he probably has like a little screen on the inside in between the actual eye holes and everything. But I think having the Tesseract, I mean, there's again, like having Tesseract, like they dreamt of powering an entire city forever with Tesseract. So like a small armored suit would be no hassle whatsoever. So I think the Tesseract definitely gave him the option to actually build it, like the actual functioning kind of Iron Man style armor way back when in the 40s. So that makes sense. But yeah, I think it was cool that they actually still found something for Steve to do. And I think Steve and Peggy's kind of relationship in this one, again, I think it's because of the fact that like these are like a lot smaller episodes too. I feel like like the dialogue, like the actual character scenes in this weren't necessarily like thorough or expansive. Like the dialogue scenes were there, but it's like you like the pacing too. Like because of how much shorter they're making this, the pacing too felt distracting almost. Like it's like you like 1 minute you're in dialogue, the next minute you're back into action, the next minute you're back in dialogue, the next minute, it's kind of jumpy and stuff, and it kind of like distracts you like a little bit from who's in, who's out, what's actually going on, and who like what people are talking about and all that kind of stuff. So I think the Steve and Peggy stuff in this just didn't really feel as fleshed out as it could have been. But I think it's because of the fact that I think as of right now it's not meant to be like a fully fleshed out story. It's just like I mean, this alone isn't really even a glimpse. Like, because this is now the official story. This is the official release. Like, the glimpses would be trailers and everything. So this being the official story, they're showing us what would still happen. But I think, in their own way, it's still a glimpse because of the fact that they've shortened down the story from being like a feature-length movie down to smaller, kind of 20, maybe 30-minute episodes and everything. So because of that, it's like it might have some obvious issues, but then that's just because of the fact that they've got bigger things in play than origin stories, but then the origin stories are still going to be here, and then this is how they still kind of explore them. So I think because it's kind of because that it was somewhat harder to actually feel for Peggy and Steve in this one. I think in this one, because I mean again in the movie like they actually had like significantly more amounts of time together, so. Because that in this one, I think because that in this one, I think it's because of the fact that if you're watching this, you already know what's happened. I think that is also that is also another point of the that is another point of the series too. Like this series is for people who already know how things went originally, but now it gives you alternate glimpses, and because of Steve and Peggy still being in this, you should already kind of know enough from the actual first Avenger movie to understand what their relationship was like and how they got on and all that kind of stuff. So then I think maybe for this one, they don't want to waste or spend too much time rehashing that stuff and redoing it. But then with this one, it's you still get enough to know that they still respect each other, and in the end, they still love each other, and they still have feelings for each other. So that kind of stuff is still there, but just not being explored to the same depth because it's already been done. So. And I think I feel like if they did that too, then people would still be like, oh, this doesn't need to be as long because we already know that. Oh yeah, they're in love, they're together, and all that kind of jazz. So yeah, but I think in the end, I think they still managed to actually execute somewhat of an emotional kind of story, and still somewhat reminding you of what it felt like to kind of root for them and to see them together and believe them to be together and everything. So that was it was still cool nonetheless. So yeah, so Steve's armor is very very cool. Flynn sucks. Just want to say that Flynn sucks. Flynn sucks. Just the great big one, and he just I really whenever he's on screen I despise him and he's annoying, and then his kind of ultimate kind of hypocritical flip too from constantly denouncing Peggy as an actual capable kind of war hero and everything to then being like, oh, you just can't get enough of Captain Carter, I believed in all along. I just want her to just punch him in the face just once to teach him what his actual kind of position is and everything. So Yeah, I think it's meant to be intentional like that. They're like, I mean, because like I think this story being flipped too. I think it's actually good and accurate enough that they actually kind of like flipped in that regard too, like actually showing that like how much harder it would be for Peggy, like her getting the strength wouldn't mean that she's even then it wouldn't mean that she's still respected, because then with Steve, because he was still a man, so that he the only issue that Colonel Phillips, I think he died too. I remember someone who looked vaguely like Captain Phillips, actually, Captain Colonel Phillips, getting shot and dying in the actual lab in the beginning. But then, in the movie, like Colonel Phillips' main kind of problem was that was that Steve just wasn't enough. He was just one man with a strength of 100, but then he actually needed like an army, like in the thousands and everything, to actually help defeat the Nazis and then to the Hydra and everything. So then. And then I think even in the movie, Colonel Phillips still had the thing where he thought Peggy got him killed because she helped him defy orders and or because she had a crush and all that kind of nonsense. So, but with this one, like Flynn actively just like denounces Peggy, and he just refuses to believe that she's capable in any form and that she has no place on the battlefield. And giving her the serum was probably like a mistake too. And still believing like, oh, we have to wait until we actually get some information from your bloodstream and everything. So that kind of stuff, I think it seems pretty. It's the 40s. It seems accurate too. I think in they very much they very much viewed it as women are lucky enough to actually work in the offices and do something there, but they have no place on the battlefield and all that kind of shit. So with this one, I'm glad that I'm very glad. I think that's why I'm all the more happy with how they produced those action scenes too. Actually showing Peggy just unapologetically, brutally, and artistically, and aesthetically just kicking ass, just using all sorts of moves. And I think even one of my favorite, more basic scenes was her actually in the training room with Steve going through his kind of physio to get better from his injury, and then Peggy actively, punching the thing, and she still did the Steve thing. She still punched the punching bag off his hooks, and then I think what I loved even more was her throwing the weight to the wall, the shot moving to the wall, but then actually rotating around to show that she's actually done it to over 2 dozen other weights too. She's actually covered an entire wall with the weights implanted in them by her strength. So again, like an accurate display of her strength, but also just showing how annoyed she is, how she's being treated and everything. So that was really cool. But then I think that kind of stuff makes the fight scenes all the more pleasing and all the more satisfying, knowing that she is again unapologetically and artistically and so fluidly kicking ass. She's just having so much fun with the shield, and even her first fight scene, she's just having so much fun, being like, wow, I didn't really think I could do this. I didn't think this was possible. It's actually so much fun, actually, doing what she wants to do, but then also having the strength to do, and actually having the strength to send a message and everything. And I think just actually bringing bringing some actual kind of ferocity and strength and pride to the mantle of Captain Carter and making herself known in that way is just such a really cool thing to see. So I love it to bits. So yeah, and I think her fight scenes were really fluid too. And I think it's because of animation too. You can really animate them however the hell you want. You can animate them to be a lot more accurate and but also a lot more agile than a human being could normally be. You can do doing 10 flips in the ground before coming out of the ground and doing a spin kick or something. So there's really no limit to what they can do. But then again, because it is still based off of the movies too, and some of the comics, they could still stay grounded enough in reality to make her look realistic. So she's awesome. She is super duper cool. So yeah. And yeah, we still had the Red Skull, of course, it being still the same kind of Captain, story versus Hydra in the 40s. We still had Red Skull, his name, which was, I do remember his name. His name was Red Skull, but I think his actual human name, no, I think, what was his human name? I forgot his human name. Not Steiner, not Heinrich. I'm just thinking of random German names now. I don't know why I can't remember his actual human name. Damn it, what was his human name? Schmidt. I think one of his name was Schmidt. Yeah, Schmidt. I think that was his last name, and then there was something before that too. I think not Adolf. Johann Schmidt, that's it, Johann Schmidt. Yeah, I don't know why that took me. I completely forgot what the Red Skull's actual human name was. Yeah, Johann Schmidt. So we had Johann Schmidt in this, and he was still doing his typical Red Skull thing. But I think I'm actually very interested in intrigued and interested by the way they actually did his story with this one. Like with this one, I think like as before. Yeah, I mean, and also like the way they actually went about his actual kind of Hydra supremacy thing in this one too. Like, because in the first one, he does still kill the actual Nazis sent by Hitler to kind of talk to Schmidt and everything. He does still kill them, and he does still kill them and test out weaponry, and he still tells them that, I think in that one, I think in that one it's a lot less explicit and it's a lot less stated, but it's also still pretty clear that he no longer believes in like for him, Hydra, like similar to Garrett and Ward, for Schmidt, Hydra was simply like a means to an end. He believes in Hydra, he still believes in Hydra, and I think for him, Hydra supremacy for him matters more, because I think there's a reason he actually wears the actual Hydra symbol and not the actual Nazi swastika, and then he he actually carries that emblem with him too. So he was given, I think he kind of impressed Hitler enough to actually give him funding for his work and to actually convince him like, oh, true power will help us win the war and everything. But then deep down, I think he either believed or knew that the Third Reich wouldn't really get far, or it would be like a dead end or whatever. But then but from the beginning, his obsession was with the actual Hydra thing. So then he still kind of worked for the Nazis, but just carrying the Hydra emblem and still kind of bringing Hydra up to more power until he could actually do that. So with this one, I think that they definitely still maintain that whole story and everything. But with this one, I think I'm a lot more interested with the way they did things with this one. Because with this one, he still gets the Tesseract from Norway. He still takes it to his lab in, I think, presumably the Alps or somewhere and everything, and he still tries to do his thing. But instead of actually, because I think last time I think in the movie I think his plan was just to drop bombs powered by the Tesseract in major cities. He would literally take out cities with bombs powered by the Tesseract. It would be like an entire nuclear explosion and everything. So he was gonna do that, but with this one, having watched Agents of Shield, I was unbelievably hyped for the reveal in this episode. I was unbelievably hyped. I was just so kind of caught off guard. I didn't know it because they kept on hinting with all these with all these different lines. They kept on hinting true power comes from the stars, and him telling that one Nazi dude the Third Reich is over. True power is beyond human reach, and true power comes from beyond the stars. That kind of line is exactly Hydra's thinking. It was exactly Gideon Malik's thinking and everything. And even then, I think it was Peggy who later mentioned that he believed he's going to unleash an interdimensional force against the Earth and achieve world domination that way. So I think at that point I was definitely thinking that's got to be Hyde. That's got to be Hyde. It's got to be Alveus. Like his actual kind of human name was Alveus. So it's got to be him. And then finally that final scene comes in. He opens a portal. He actually opens a portal with that one, and then he actually brings in a giant tentacle creature too. The actual Hydra, like the Hydra symbol, being based off of Hyde's true form and everything. So yeah, that reveal got me. That is undeniably Hive. That is undoubtedly Hive. That has to be Hive. I mean, again, no name. I think unless you've either been spoiled by Agents of Shield or you've seen Agents of Shield, then you probably wouldn't recognize you probably wouldn't recognize it as much other than some kind of interdimensional tentacle creature. But then, it being it's still in their universe, it would still kind of show that that's like the Space Stone is opening up a portal to Marvet. So you don't even need the monolith for that. The Space Stone, is essentially like a portal to is a doorway to the under to anywhere else in space. So Space Stone could easily act, or easily equally act as like an actual portal to Marvet, where Schmidt could actually bring Hive in from. So that was such a cool reveal. And I think that really makes me kind of and I think it's also kind of makes you wonder how differently the movies could have gone if they did that originally too. Because I think to begin with, because to be fair, I don't think they knew that they wanted to do Agents of Shield until the Avengers, because then Agents of Shield is spawned from the Avengers, from Coulson's death and his resurrection and everything. So I think I can't help but wonder how different it would have been if this had actually gone down in the actual movie. Instead of dropping bombs, Schmidt actually finds out. If Schmidt actually went along with what the original Hydra thing was, because with this one he just I think with this one for him in the movie for Schmidt the Tesseract was still the Tesseract still counted as the power from beyond the Earth that he strived to achieve and strived to control and everything. So like that still counted for him. But then he still went ahead with it to do what the Nazis did with power, and he still kind of made weapons and created plans for world domination and mass destruction and everything like that. So then I can't help but wonder if in the movies they had actually done that, if they had actually teased Hive, if they had actually teased a giant tentacle monster coming out, and actually also teasing that oh, this is where Hydra's symbol comes from, and this is where like this is the creature that Hydra actually based their kind of mantra and their mentality and their kind of emblem off of. So then if they tease that then, and then it would still tie into the whole power from the beyond the Earth thing. And I think teasing Hive, and I think because especially the fact that even in Agents of Shield, like Malik kind of states that he still states that in the movies, like Red Skull he still believed in Hydra's thing, like in True Power Comes from Beyond the Stars, but he just never, like in the movies, he just never used that to search for Hive. He never actually searched for Hive. I don't know if he ever knew about Hive. It's never really kind of shown that he knew about Hive or he knew about inhuman power. But then he only ever believed in True Power Coming from Beyond the Stars. But then he never actually sought out Hydra's true origins or their deeper kind of secrets and everything. So then that's never really kind of explored. But with this one, it shows that Red Skull was aware of Hydra's true origins from way back when, and he knew about Hive all along. So then I do want that, like, I don't think if they had done that then I think it would have made season 3 and the Hive storyline even more special, knowing that they'd actually teased it beforehand, they'd actually shown the creature actually being teased in the first Avenger, and then jump into season 3 and you see that creature make a return, and then he gets the backstory and all that kind of stuff. So that would have been cool. But with this one, I think I'm very glad they actually went down this path instead, where it's where they actually where they actually show like a more explorative and more knowledgeable kind of Red Skull, like more knowledgeable side to Red Skull, where he knows like Hydra's true history and he still believes in that, and he still he believes in that to the point where he's actually willing to denounce and kill Nazis and the Third Reich and everything in order to actually bring Hydra into the thing, because he eventually said the Third Reich will burn and then Hydra will rise from its ashes, so he still believes in all of that. So that was cool. But I think this Hive is still like held back and it's still a lot more simplistic than the version we see in Agents of Shield 2. Like this one is just tentacles. Like not only is it a giant tentacle monster, because I think even in Agents of Shield when Ward and Fitz and the other Hydra agents actually travel to Marveth, they see the symbol, like the actual statue of Hive built in its honor on Marveth. Albeit over time broken down and old and kind of worn out and everything, but they still see that kind of symbol of like a giant kind of squid creature with tentacles and everything. Like they still see that. But with this one, it's it's a giant tentacle monster that if you know, then you know and you recognize it. But then there's no actual head, there's no face. It's just tentacles. It's not only is it just tentacles, it's a lot of tentacles. Because I'm pretty sure the Hydra symbol only actually shows Hive having six tentacles, like three on each side. But then with this one, it's he's probably got like 3 dozen tentacles on it. Just like 5 tentacles to capture each person and to kind of squash them or suffocate them or something. And Hive ends up killing Red Skull too. Hive ends up actually crushing Red Skull between its tentacles and everything. So the actual kind of the human servant works to summon Hive to the Earth, and then he gets killed and. Pretty much the same way with Gideon Malik. Gideon Malik was also killed, albeit indirectly through Daisy Johnson, but then he was also kind of killed by Hive in some way too. So yeah, but Hive, yeah, he just had a lot of tentacles. He just had a lot of tentacles. And I don't know if that's because they either didn't want to show him fully, or maybe if they just if it was just meant to be like a tease, like, oh, if you recognize these tentacles, then good on you. You've been watching older Marvel television too. But if you don't, then you might want to look into who this actually is and who it might be. So just tentacles and no inhuman control, nothing like that. Just good old-fashioned tentacle kind of destruction and tentacle damage. So it was still cool. It was still a really cool glimpse. So I'm glad they actually brought him in even for this, and a great kind of twist and a great kind of change in what the actual final battle is. So that's fun. And then the twist that I thought would be coming in the end was Steve on the train. I didn't think they'd pull that on us. Steve dying on the train. Steve dying. So I think Bucky, we got an entirely different Bucky. We got a totally different Bucky in this entire story. Bucky was still captured, but he was never experimented on, because I think he was still in the same prison cell, in the same kind of, like, I think communal, I guess you could say, kind of prison cell with the other Howling Commandos and the other kind of 107th kind of soldiers and everything. So he was never captured. He was never separated by Zola for experimentation. He was still there, still present, and still kind of, in possession of his own marbles and everything, and he was never experimented on. So I think the Bucky we got in this entire episode was the regular human World War II Bucky that that we got for like half of the actual first Avenger movie. So yeah, this Bucky gets to live happy. I mean, he gets to live happily ever after. I think based on the ending, I don't know if they've actually kept him alive or if they've actually kind of killed him off or what's happened, but this Bucky essentially just never became the Winter Soldier. That is it. He never died. He never got injured. He just fought. He fought valiantly. He respected Peggy and he respected Steve, and he, so him and Steve were still best friends in this one. Which I think, again, I mean, given this is Captain Carter, they wouldn't show too much of that, but then it's still established. It's still kind of stated. It's still done. And then he still mourns with Peggy when Steve dies when Steve dies on the train. I think that twist got me too. So like I think with that one, it's like it's not just that he falls off of the train, but like they go to ambush the train, but then he finds bombs waiting for them, and then he goes to warn Peggy, but then the bombs go off and it's too late and stuff. So then that kind of death is what is the twist thrown in Peggy and Bucky's faces. So then that I think that really had me wondering, like, were they gonna Winter Soldier Steve? Because I mean, that's pre-serum Steve. There's not really much they can do with him. Like, I think he's probably still injured. He's probably still got some scar or some kind of thing from the actual bullet wound and everything. So because I don't know if he can even walk. Because he can sit down. And I think because even at the end, like in Peggy's kind of sacrifice scene, when he actually crawled out of the robot, he never actually stood up. I don't know if it's just because of stress or because he didn't really kind of think to stand up. But then I think after he was shot, we very rarely see him standing up. I think besides from on like in the actual physiotherapy session, he's actually kind of walking along the rails and holding himself up. So I don't know if he's actually got some kind of like some form of paralysis, or if he's got some kind of spinal injury from that thing, or what. I mean, even without the injury, he's still pre-serum Steve. So Hydra literally wouldn't be able to Winter Soldier him. I mean, well, not necessarily, because they still gave. They could have given him the same serum they gave Bucky, so that's not entirely true. Because even without the serum, Bucky was still strong. He still had some like regular human strength, but then they still gave Bucky the serum that he needed to become the Winter Soldier. I think Steve could have still become a super soldier in this universe if he died that way, but then he just wouldn't be Captain America. He'd probably be Winter Soldier. And I think that is also I think when What If was announced, I remember seeing a lot of people saying seeing a lot of people saying like I think people really wanting to see the roles reversed with Steve and Bucky. So Bucky maybe becomes Captain America and Steve becomes the Winter Soldier, or maybe even maintaining Captain Carter, but then Steve becomes the Winter Soldier instead, and Bucky still kind of lives and he still fights with the commandos. So yes, I think I fully figured that. Like I fully thought, oh, maybe that's the way they might go with this. Maybe they actually might maybe they might do the whole Peggy sacrifice thing with Peggy and actually have her frozen in ice for 70 years, but then have Steve captured by Hydra and then turned into the Winter Soldier, and then fast forward down the line and we actually have Captain Carter, the Winter Soldier or something. So yeah, but no, he still lived. He was captured. I don't know if he was experimented on. I think that could still be what happened. I think like part of me still feels like they could go that way. They could still go that way with Steve, because I think any serum they give him could probably also kind of help reverse his injury or help kind of give him the strength he needs to become the Winter Soldier. So I think part of me, like, not necessarily holding out hope, but just not shutting it down completely. Part of me still believes that could happen. They could still go down that route, and I think, and especially now with the ending, they could easily go down that route with that too. So it could still very much be possible. And I think in this one too, it's not just the fact that we see like a nice, normal, more happier Bucky, but I think we see like a more comedic Bucky too, like him actually cracking jokes and him being somewhat more surprised at what's going on and still being like flabbergasted by all the crazy crap going on. But then the Bucky in this is still kind of funnier, he's still wittier, he's still kind of more humorous and everything. I think it's because of the way that things rolled out too. Like, because in the movie, I think he was extremely anxious and he was still super scared of what could happen because Steve went through this thing. Like Steve actually got this power, but then he also became more prominent in the battlefield, and he was still kind of like Bucky spent pretty much his entire life actually trying to protect Steve in the playground and on the streets and everything. So he spent his entire life trying to protect Steve because Steve couldn't protect himself. But then, you know, seeing him actually being all the more prominent in the face of danger, kind of in the movie, it scares Bucky even more, even though he actually doesn't tell Steve, and he still tries to give Steve the trust and the independence that he feels he deserves and everything. But with this one, it's like he doesn't really have to worry about it as much. He just kind of like he's shocked to see Steve in the actual Hydra Stomper suit, but then it's just like, you know, still okay. So Steve is protected. He's in armor. He's still doing something, and we've got Kip, and we've got Peggy on our side too. Peggy's kicking ass and everything. So he's still as confused as he is you'd expect him to be. But then, you know, but then he still manages to find some kind of light, and he still manages to actually be the actual kind of charismatic Bucky and the actual kind of like, you know, the kind of himbo. I guess you could definitely still count this kind of Bucky as a himbo too. So he's still the kind of dumbfounded, but still kind of, you know, the kind of hopeful himbo that you kind of expect him to be. So yeah. And then yeah, Peggy's sacrifice, as I said, Captain Sacrifice. But yeah, this time it's not from a plane. It's not from a plane full of bombs, because that plan never goes forward. Red Skull just wants to bring Hive to Earth and have him destroy and devour cities and stuff. So that's that. But then her actual sacrifice is actually from trying to push Hive back into the Space Stone portal and trying to push him back to wherever he came from, but then only actually ending up going with him. I think, you know, that ending scene too, like, you know, Steve crawling out of the stomper just as soon as Peggy falls in, and then them still having the briefest of conversation. I think this one too, I think it hurts all the more because it's face to face. Like in the movie, Peggy and Steve's conversation was still over the radio. They couldn't see each other. They just had to kind of imagine, and that one kind of felt like somewhat more emotional because they were miles apart. But then with this one, they're literally just like 10, 20 feet apart maybe, and like still making eye contact before she pays the ultimate price and everything. So there was that. But then this one was still brief as hell, but it still managed to call back to them kind of agreeing to go on their dance and everything, and still making that deal. But Peggy then pushes Hive back into the portal and then goes with him, but then she does not go back with him to Marvel. She doesn't go to anywhere else. Instead, she goes to, she travels into the future. So I think, yes, I don't know how that would have worked. I don't know if she was on some kind of time delay kind of portal thing, because then she goes in, then the Tesseract in the 40s turns off, but then travel forward in time, and then the Tesseract in, I think, 2012, when the Avengers was happening, that Tesseract then turns on and opens the portal, and then Captain Carter comes through with some severed kind of tentacle pieces from Hive and everything. And she aced it with the sword. Oh my god! I mean, if she wasn't, you know, if she wasn't badass enough for the shield, then the sword just tenfold. So like her sword play was actually just super duper cool. And really, really fun to watch. So she probably used the sword inside the portal to still hacking and slicing and dicing as she was in there, and as she was falling and everything, so she still managed to slice up Hive like a Swiss roll and everything. So that was cool. But then she travels into the future and she goes into S.H.I.E.L.D. and then that exact kind of same lab that Hawkeye and Fury were in the movie and stuff, but this time with no other scientists around. And then that's when Fury reveals to her that the war's been over for 70 years and they won and all that kind of stuff. I think I called back to that line when Steve, I think that line was pretty exclusive to Steve too, like Steve being like, you know, yeah, I'll be fine, I just, you know, I had a date and things like that. I thought maybe she might mention that, but then no, she still gets her own line where it's like, you know, of course I'm fine, we won the war, that's what it was all about. Like, you know, I think, you know, like, until Steve came along too, is like, you know, she, as a character before then, she never really kind of pondered relationships or anything like that too much, and especially because the way that, you know, like, she was seen in the war and in the war room, like, she never really thought that, you know, like a man would be interested in like a woman like her who wants to fight and who believes herself to be capable. But then until Steve came along, like Steve just adored her. Steve adored her. He respected her. He admired her. He was like, you know, wow, you're so tall and strong and courageous. I'm in love and everything. And then that's when she found out that true love might just be possible. So then, you know, so then that was when like that was the first time like the possibility of like a romance or something actually got ignited for her. So So I thought she might go back to that, but then for her, she wanted to prove that she could help win the war effort. She could actually aid in the war effort, and she could help win the war, and she could actually still do something. So then for her, like, her final piece of satisfaction is knowing that, you know, what she did actually meant something, and what she did actually counted, and then they still won in the end. So she's like, yeah, great, I'm fine. I mean, we won. That was always what we tried to do, and we succeeded. So yeah, so that ending too, I think, you know, that ending definitely kind of like leads into the possibility of Captain Carter being in the future and being in like present day and stuff, so then her being transported ahead of time. So then, yeah, I mean, again, two different counts. On one count, I'm curious as to how we might go forward from there, if they're going to form like an entirely different kind of roster of Avengers with Captain Carter. I mean, if they give me Captain Carter and Black Widow, I will combust. If they give me Tasha Romanoff as Black Widow fighting side by side with Peggy Carter as Captain Carter, I will spontaneously combust. I'm not even kidding. I will actually just cease to exist. I will be Thanos snapped out of existence due to the sheer power of those two women on the battlefield. I won't handle it. I will not be able to. I will not be able to process that information. I will not be able to handle it. I would not live. You know, that would be something just remarkable to watch, but also be just. If they give me that, if they give me Peggy and Natasha, because I think we see in the trailer. I think in the trailer we do see some futuristic Avengers members still fighting, still doing stuff. And I think we saw like Natasha in the future with a different suit and like a shield of her own too. So I don't know if that's actually connected to this or if that's some other kind of AU. But if they give me, I think even it I think. Assuming they do go forward with the Avengers story, similar to the movies in this animated version, then assuming we actually get like a close enough roster of Avengers heroes, then Peggy and Natasha. I'm willing to die. I'm willing to die if that would be the cause of death, then I'm completely okay with that. But just give it to me. Just give me Black Widow and Captain Carter whooping ass on the battlefield, and then, you know, everyone else just kind of struggling to pick up, you know, their kind of scraps of stragglers and whatnot. So yeah, but yeah, that does offer some very, very exciting and interesting opportunities and some story kind of story ideas and stuff. So I do sincerely hope they go forward with like a new Avengers thing and everything, and hopefully actually bringing in, like, you know, like, to seeing what happens to Steve, seeing what happens to Bucky. I think it would be more peaceful knowing that Bucky still lived like a happy human life and like a normal life after the war, and he still kind of grew old and maybe died or something. But then with Steve, I feel like there's still something that they can do with Steve there and actually see what can happen with him. Maybe if he gets the Peggy treatment, maybe if he still grows up, maybe if Steve and Bucky grew up together, but then Bucky died earlier on, but then Steve gets the same treatment as Peggy did in Winter Soldier. He grows old, he maybe, you know, maybe he gets Alzheimer's, maybe he just grows old in like a retirement home and he still kind of lives out his life there, and then he actually gets to see Peggy again 70 years later and everything. So I don't know, just ideas, just possibilities. That's what this show's all about. Possibilities. That's what this show's all about. So yeah, it should be fun. It should be a lot of fun. And I think I especially love with Arnim Zola too. Like she ambushes the convoy taking Arnim Zola. I think they completely switched that too, because in the movie the train that originally was actually taking Arnim Zola where he needed to be, and then, you know, Bucky gave his life actually trying to get him there. But then with this one, it's like, you know, like the first official fight that Peggy has is stopping that convoy, and then like the train is a whole other thing that Hydra kind of throws in their faces with like an ambush of bombs. But then the first convoy that Peggy attacks is the same one carrying Zola, and I think I love how quick they made that interrogation too, because I think, you know, like Peggy goes in, and then, you know, like Zola's just like, Fräulein, I'm not going to tell you anything. You can tell me all you want, and you won't tell me anything. Like literally just 2 seconds later, he told me literally everything I needed to know, and he was more than willing to cooperate. Because even in the movie, I think in the movie they gave him like they actually offered him like safe sanctuary, and like actually I think probably going into Witsec or something, like going away from Red Skull and offering him as best protection as they could, and doing all that stuff in exchange for information. In exchange for information. So then they did that, but with this one, it's like, you know, I think it's the fun part where I think we don't even need to know what she did. We just need to know that she either verbally threatened him or she literally just kind of broke the table in half with her bare hands, and then that was more than enough. Because then that would be more than enough. Like she could just like karate chop the table and be like, if you don't start talking, this is gonna be your legs, your arms, and then finally your back. So it's up to you if you want to start spilling the beans or not. And then afterwards, you're like, yep, just just here's Schmidt's phone number, his cell, his work code, all of his plans you need to know. So just go after him, take him down, and leave me be and everything. So that kind of flip was was really fun to see. So yeah. So yeah, that is pretty much all I've got. I don't know if there's anything else that actually is like needs mentioning, and anything else that's really noteworthy. I haven't really written much else down besides from what I've already mentioned. But I think those are like the main parts. Howard still got to do something too. Howard was taken into the field of battle just to push buttons. I think it's also the fact that he knows he's not a soldier, so he's afraid of actually dying even more because he doesn't have any formal training. He doesn't really have like a soldier's training, so he's afraid of what could happen. But then Peggy assures him not only are you only going to be there to push buttons, but then we need someone to push buttons, and then that person needs to be you. Like you're the best person we know who knows how to push buttons and to operate machines and everything. So that's the best use we can find for you. But then that's all you have to do either. That's all you have to do as well. So no having to fire guns unless absolutely necessary, and no going up against Hydra soldiers. So they still, I kind of predominantly love that too. That they actually kind of found a way for the important people to actually play their part in as many ways as possible. Like the Howling Commanders being there to storm the castle, and then Steve being there in a suit and still doing something and being rescued and helping to fight and everything, and then Howard being there to actually push buttons and activate the generator and actually doing something for himself, and everyone had so much more of a part to play in this one compared to the movie. So I actually really love how how much more they incorporated all the characters into this version, and how much more they actually showed people playing their part. So that was really fun. So yeah, I think that's it. I think going forward, I just really hope we see more of Captain Carter, and hopefully her leading the Avengers. Hopefully her leading some new roster of the Avengers that has to include Black Widow. It has to include Black Widow. It has to be. I think I need Natasha Romanoff and Peggy Carter working together, fighting together, hanging out together, and actually just being like the two kind of best kind of friends, for lack of a better term, on the Avengers roster in the future and everything, and seeing how different the Avengers could be, what how different the battles would be, how different their enemies could be, and all that kind of stuff. Especially if this actually does follow, especially if this series and if this season does follow a more coherent story. So I think if they're doing multiple seasons, maybe if each season follows, if each season consists of its own phase as well. Phase 1 is phase 1 of the MCU, so we have different kind of so then we have different origins for Captain Carter, we have different origins for Tony, we have different origins for Thor, maybe, because I think Thor's been kind of shown fairly prominently in the promotion for this. I think maybe Thor has a different story if we get different Hulk. Maybe if we just get a different style of the Avengers from this kind of change up in origins alone. So maybe season 1 is phase 1, and then season 2 is phase 2, and then season 3 phase 3. So yeah, I am very excited to see how we go forward with this actual story. So yeah, that was episode 1. What if Captain Carter became the first Avenger instead? A very, very cool introduction, and very intriguing introduction to this kind of multiversal story. So I can't wait to see how it all goes forth. And this is canon too, in another universe, in another timeline of the MCU. Peggy actually did become Captain Carter. She did become a super soldier, and she did help win the war. So everything going forward from here is canon in some way. It's still kind of official. They're in another universe. So it didn't happen in the mainstream universe, but then now the multiverse is being made canon. Therefore, everything is canon. So Marvel TV now is essentially canon. Marvel TV maybe it doesn't connect to the mainstream MCU as much as you would like. But then it's still canon. Daredevil, the Defenders, all the Netflix stuff still happened. Agent Carter still happened. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. now canon. It doesn't matter if it takes place in a different timeline or something. It still happened. It's still canon. In another timeline. Which for that one, because of the fact that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is spawned directly from something that is reverted from what happens in the first Avengers. It's kind of, I think, for me personally, that one's a little bit more kind of confusing, but at the same time, it's hey, it's canon now, so they've still they've still done some phenomenal stuff with what they've had and what they've been given and their own like ideas and everything. So they've still made it work. But either way, everything is kind of now. Marvel's confirmed it. So no more debating what's real and what's not, what counts and what doesn't. It all counts. It all counts. So yeah, any thoughts you guys have? Any kind of theories and thoughts you guys have, or what you thought of this episode, or like how you felt about this episode, and what you enjoyed from this episode? Feel free to share thoughts and any theories you have about the show going forward and stuff, and any kind of personal kind of what ifs you'd like to see, or any what ifs you want to see, or like what ifs you're most looking forward to. Let me know in the comments. So that will be cool to know. But yeah, that is it. So that was Marvel's What If. So yeah, thank you guys as always for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next time in Marvel's What If. Once again, the full-length reaction will be over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. And yeah, that is it. So, I will see you guys next time.